Erev Tov Rabbi Sai, it goes without saying that our world is an incredible and complicated and complex, confusing place right now, as it is always, but even more so now. On the one hand, we have immense hakaras hatov to the Bari Olam, to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and to the incredible fighters of the IDF and the US Defense Forces. An immense hakaras hatov to HaKadosh Baruch Hu for enabling us in our generation to fight this war and to eradicate, very simply stated, those people that represent Amalek and are Amalek in our generation. And with that we have all of the obligations of hakaras hatov, of gratitude to Hashem, to our brave soldiers in this country and in Eretz Yisrael. And Kedarkenu B'Kodesh, it's important to talk for a moment what our Avoda is, specifically tonight and tomorrow, being that it is Taanis Ester. Taanis Ester, the Gemara refers to as Zman Kihila Lakol. It's the time for everybody getting together. The Zman Kihila Lakol. And the Gemara takes this as a granted, that the reason that it's possible in some circumstances to read the Megillah tomorrow during the day, is because it is Zman Kihila Lakol. It is the time for all Jews to get together. Then in the days of Mordechai and Esther, this became the day that Jews got together. And I want to point out that there is an avoda that we in Chutz LaAretz have on three fronts. First and foremost, as I'm sure all of you have heard and spoken to loved ones, family and friends in Eretz Yisrael, our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael are not able to get together on Taanis Ester this year. They're in mamadim and they're in bomb shelters and they are not able to gather. Which means that the obligation of physically being together with other Jews, just being present with other Jews and physically in other people's lives, that avoda has been handed to Bnei Chutz LaAretz. Which means that tonight, tomorrow, as much as you can be together with other Jews, Divrei Shalom Ve'emes, like the Megillah says, just be together. Don't stand apart, don't stay out of the picture, be together. Look out for other people, be there for other people. Zman Kihila Lakol. That's point number one. Point number two is there's an avoda that we have today in our generation, which Moshe Rabbeinu has already commanded us in 3,500 years ago. At the very first war against Amalek, there were three groups of people. The Torah only speaks about two of them. The Torah speaks about Moshe Rabbeinu saying, "B'char lanu anashim," choose a group of people, "V'tzei v'lachem b'Amalek," and go fight Amalek. So you have Yeshua, and you have the army that are fighting. And then you have Moshe and Aaron and Hur at the top of the mountain. And Moshe Rabbeinu has the stick of Hashem in his hand. And the Sforno explains, why does he have the stick of Hashem in his hand? Why does it have to be there? Says the Sforno, it's very simple, because there is a third group of people. And I'll read to you the Sforno. Rashi says almost the same thing, but the Sforno says it clearer. LaAretz la'am bai zman tfilasah. To be able to conduct the davening. Not for the people that are fighting, for the rest of us. Meaning, that Moshe, Aaron, and Hur at the top of the mountain. Rashi here says, from this we learn that at a Taanis tzibur, you need to have three people at the bima. And then Pinchas Karitza writes that it seems to be that what Rashi is getting to is that this original Milchamas Amalek was Taanis Ester. How it works with the dates, not for now. But the very first fight against Amalek, there is a group of people that are conducting the davening. There's a group of people fighting in the war. And then there is a group of people that are ensuring that the Milchama continues. And the way that the Milchama continues and that we are victorious is that when we see that there is davening going on, that we daven. When Moshe Rabbeinu lifts up his hands, the Jewish people are directing their hearts to Shamayim. Says the Sforno, that's not the fighters. They have their work cut out for them. They are doing what they are doing. Who is directing their hearts to Avinu Shamayim? The rest of us, those of us that are not putting on an IDF uniform. Those of us that are not getting in the fighter jets. Those of us that are not yet in Eretz Yisrael, helping and supplying and assisting. There's an avoda for us, which is to daven. And that, my dear, sweet and holy friends, that is the majority of Klal Yisrael. Says the Abarbanel, there's one group of people that Moshe leaves out. When he says to Yoshua, Bachar lanu anashim, go and choose people, who are the people that he needs to choose? Not the complainers that complained against Hashem. Those people don't win wars. Jews that fight against Moshe Rabbeinu, Jews that are denigrating to Rabbanim and Chachamim, and there's a lot of people and there's a lot of things to say. And everybody's got their politics and everybody's got what to add to whatever conversations. But at the very least, on Taanis Ester, chas v'shalom, to be people that complain against Hashem, that complain against the Moshe Rabbeinus of our generation, that complain against Talmidei Chachamim, and that are not assisting in the milchama by davening. Which means what I'm suggesting to you, my dear, sweet and holy friends, is a political position amongst the Jewish people which doesn't really exist. It means that we need to be the people that are fully behind our soldiers, regardless of their religiosity, that are davening for them with all of our hearts and souls. And it means that we need to be the people that are supportive of Talmud Torah and the Bnei Yeshivas. It doesn't make sense. I don't know. From where we're sitting in Chutz, LaAretz, we can do both. You can love Talmidei Chachamim and Talmud Torah, and you can love the IDF. And you can support all of it. And until you're voting in an Israeli election, it doesn't make a difference. Right now, you care about all of it. And that is what we can do. Because that's what it means, man kehil lakol. We, the Jews of Chutz LaAretz, can do that. Our brothers and sisters in Eretz Yisrael don't have the political availability or the security possibilities. Which means that our position right now is crucial to the success of the Jewish people. Which means, man kehil lakol. Be with other Jews. Reach out to somebody that you have a machlokes with. Ask them for mechila. Find a way to make connections between other Jews. It means daven. Come to davening tomorrow. Daven with kavanah. Say tehillim. Don't just doom scroll through the news. But when you see things are happening, daven. It means thirdly, don't chalila have reason to complain against anybody. Not the government, not the politics, and not the leadership, and not the soldiers, and not the bachrim, and not the rabbanim. Don't be a complainer. Don't be somebody that's trying to tear down Klal Yisrael when we so desperately need every Jew. So those are the three things that I want you to know. And I'll leave you with a fourth, which is an avoda that is an avoda of the tzaddikim. The Divrei Chaim of Tzanz quoted from the Berditchever that on Purim, the Berditchever stood up on Purim night and apologized to the Hasidim that he didn't talk to them the whole of Taanis Ester. They came, they wanted to talk to me, he didn't want to talk to them. He says, because the avoda of the tzaddikim on Taanis Ester is to go to war against the 70 nations of the world. He says, that's what I was doing the whole of Erev Purim of Taanis Ester. That is the opportunity for Klal Yisrael to fight against all of those ideas and ideologies of all of the nations of the world. And if we are victorious, then what ends up happening on Purim is V'rabim me'amei ha'aretz mizyadim ki nafal pachad ha'yudim aleim. That if we are successful, then the world is terrified from the Jewish people, and they understand the value of what it means to be a Yid. So if you're holding by that, go for it. But at the very least, Be with other Jews. Daven for real. And don't be a complainer. Because Baruch should hear all about tefillas and we should see tremendous success.
Skadash, Meir Haba, Yalamad Yivarav, Yerusei, V'Amlik Maplusei,